Hello anybody and welcome. I'm Christian from ISI and this is the first devlog video on my game Lightbots. As I mentioned in the post-mortem, I'm going to be redeveloping the game from the ground up. So it's Monday right now and I've got a blank scene and we'll see how far I can get in a day. Okay, I'm back. It's Tuesday morning right now. Didn't manage to do any more recording last night as it was my sister's birthday. So I got most of the stuff done. Very similar to what I managed to do on the first 11-day day. Well, actually, I didn't manage to do the characters, but as you can see, I've got the orb moving. Just a second. I've got the orb moving. I've imported the same tile set I used for my 11-day game. I've just scaled it up. I'm going to rework it a little bit to make it a little nicer. I worked on the text rendering system that I had, because the one I had for the 11-day didn't work properly, and it made the text incredibly hard to read. This one I just added a shadow type thing to it. I'm using Text Mesh Pro, so if I can see the material, that's there. I've added a underlay, and by making it extend in all directions, it just adds a little black shadow behind it and makes it way easier to read the text even if it's full white behind it. I've also used multiple cameras. This one renders the UI at a higher resolution, and so that makes sure it's not pixelated when rendered at a low resolution, because I'm using the Pixel Perfect camera, the Unity asset. So that's how I get it to look a little bit nicer than it would normally. So yeah, that's about all I managed to do yesterday. Oh, and I set up the trigger system and my receivers and transmitters. So that's what I use for the Lumdia. Pretty much I've just got a transmitter which sends a signal to a list of receivers, as we can see here on the text holder. It has a transmitter object, so I can give it a trigger which will activate the transmitter, and that will send information to the receiver, and then I have actors which will act upon when they received information. So that makes the text become visible. And I've set up a global settings class which I use to hold important settings that I think should be there. So I've got text size and the amount that the text is bobbing up and down, how long it takes, and I've also set up the fade gradient and things like that. I've used an animation curve for the bobbing animation. I use animation curves for lots of things like that. I notice lots of people don't use animation curves. They're really handy for things like that you need to be smooth and curved. But yeah, that's what I've managed to do today. Hopefully I'll be able to do the character and maybe some of the switches and buttons by the end of the day, but we'll see. See ya. Okay, it's Wednesday morning. I've been doing coding yesterday. Again, I didn't do any recording last night, but I think I'm just going to do recordings in the morning. Anyway, I got to do some of the stuff I'd planned to do yesterday. Not as much as I'd wanted to do, but I worked on the units, if they can load. There we go. So the units can now be controlled. The orb doesn't follow the character around yet, but the character can be controlled. He's a bit nicer to control than he was in the first game. I'm not sure if it's 100% what I want him to be like. I think I might make him a little bit more snappy. He's a little bit too floaty at the moment. But yeah, that's what I've done so far. As well as I modified how the receivers function. They now have a... let's see if I can... they now have modifiers. So I've created a receiver modifier class, and then I've created these inherited classes, so these ones inherit from it, and they're modifiers, so I can create like a modified chain, so I can change how receivers work to have like AND gates and things like that, where you have multiple switches that need to be toggled to activate a door. So this one just checks that the character, if the character is controlling someone, and if it is, it converts that signal into a power level, and then down here it uses that to determine whether it's on or not. That way the little cue to tell you to take control isn't active when the player is in control of one, just so it's not in the way. It looks weird. But yeah, unfortunately I didn't get to do switches and buttons and stuff, but hopefully I'll be able to do that today. So, see you then. Okay, it's Thursday now. I did manage to get a lot done, not necessarily what I was planning on doing, though I did get what I was planning on doing done, but I've done a whole bunch of things that I wasn't planning on doing. So as you can see, it's now blue, which is actually something I'll show off later, but right now I can control units. The orb character now does follow the unit around, which is nicer. I've done the switches, so now I've got the switch that opens the door. So I'll make some of the other buttons and systems, like the timed panels and things like that. So the color change, and also the bloom, I added bloom from Unity's post-processing stack, but the color change is from a image effect shader I've written, so it actually changes the color based on whatever you give it. So I'm planning on having that as something you can like do in the game. In like the options or settings menu or something, you can change what color you want the game to be. You can have it white, or you can have it, blue or whatever. But it's HDR, so I can increase the brightness, which is probably something I'll have players can do themselves as well. So you can have like it really bright. So it looks actually quite nice, I think. So yeah. The other thing I've done is I've added a AND modifier to the receiver modifiers. So it just takes into receiver modifiers and actually just returns if both of them. I'm going to make an OR one as well. It just made some of the things easier because I had a active to power one where if it was true it would output some signal, and if it was inactive it would output a different one. But I found that it was actually kind of really annoying to use, so it's so much easier if I use an AND one, because now I can do it in one modifier rather than a whole bunch. So overall the modifier system seems like it's turned out to be a little bit over the top for what I needed. But it's still good practice, and it still comes in handy from time to time when I want a modifier on a receiver that's different from, because I would have had to make a separate script for every single different capability I wanted, so it works out better. But yeah, that's all I managed to do today. I'm probably going to go into doing detail masks, like pipes and stuff like that, like I had in the first game, and probably the computer panel and stuff, and maybe doing graphics for things like the units and the switches and doors and things like that, just so it doesn't look so bland like it does at the moment. Anyway, that's all for now. Okay, it's Friday now. I've been working on the graphics, as you can probably tell in this window here. So I've imported the old details, graphics and stuff. I did revamp the pipes a little bit, making them look a little bit nicer and fit the resolution a bit better. I've also had to change how I've designed some of the levels, as in the first game I had these like foreground pipes, or background pipes. They were originally foreground pipes, and they used to get in the way, and lots of people who played the first game were actually confused and thought they couldn't actually go through them. So for this one I actually put them into the background rather than the foreground. And yeah, it looks not as good, I don't think. I don't think it looks as nice as it did when they were in the front, but it works better, and it still has them here, which is nice. I didn't do the doors and switches and units and stuff. Well, I did work on the unit. I'm not sure if I'm going to go with this look. I want them to look similar to the way they did in the first one, but still be better, because I plan on animating them this time rather than having them just sort of slide around without moving. So yeah, I'll see how if that opens up. Yeah. So I've gone for this sort of much taller design for these guys rather than the short design like in the first one. Ooh, that was an accident. Yeah, you can see them a bit better now. But yeah, they've got these tall, skinny legs and arms, and they've still got their big head and stuff. So I'm planning on the legs won't actually be part of the sprite. I'm gonna like have them as separate sprites and then animate them using the 2D animation toolkit thing. I think that'll look better. I'm not sure how good it'll look, but I'll have to see how that goes. But yeah, so I'm not really going to be able to do much more today because I'm going to be busy. So this is pretty much the last video of the week, and this is probably how it's going to be when it starts, when I do the next video. Okay, thanks for watching. Do subscribe. Content can't get much worse. I'll see you next time. Goodbye, anybody, and good luck with your dreams.